Blah! Just kidding. I forgot to add myself to the broadcast. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. It's Sunday evening. It's region weather time. It's time to talk about all the weather that we've got going on across the country and how that's going to impact us for the week coming up. And really, we'll go extended. We'll go well into the month of August here as we're now the 10th of August. That's crazy. A lot of kiddos back in school. Some of them going back this week. I know you've got your routine that you're trying to get used to, and sports practice is out you know what. And so in terms of the forecast, we do have some active weather finally coming our way. It has not rained in the month of August yet here locally, and it seemed like to end July we were doing well. We were getting some good rain. We had some good downpours several different occasions in our drought. We put a nice dent in it, and now we seem to be going back in the other direction again where we're drying out. And so we're going to talk about those numbers. We'll give you rainfall expectations over the next 15 days. And then we'll talk about this heat. Do we get any breaks from the heat? I know it's summer and it still feels like August outside, but it just gets a little old after a while. That's all I'm saying. All right. In terms of our broadcast here, we'll thank our early birds in a second. We'll let a few other people join here, and then we'll dive in here. Let me thank our sponsors real quick. We've got Earl's Heating and Air Conditioning. If you guys have any problems with your air conditioning, please call Earl's. They'll come right out. They're awesome. They've been serving Northwest Indiana since 1976. That's nuts. That's just crazy that anyone's been in business that long, and they've been doing it right. It's earlsheating.com is the website to go to there. Publicserviceadjusting.com, the place to go if you need a public service adjuster. What is that and why would I need it? If you have an insurance claim on your property, anything dealing with insurance, if you have to call your insurance company to file a claim, don't do that first. Go to PSA first. What they will do, they're licensed insured adjusters here right in the region. They come out, they'll take pictures, document whatever the issue is, and they will submit everything to your insurance company, and they'll deal with your insurance company. You don't have to deal with the phone calls and calling them back and sending emails and documenting more. They take care of all that for you. Publicserviceadjusting.com. Romans Roofing, the place to go if you need a new roof, even if you need a couple shingles replaced, you've got a leak perhaps. Not that hasn't rained, right? But anyway, if you need any roofing work done, they do amazing work. They've got a great Facebook page to follow as well. Not that implies that they're a great business, because they're a great business aside from the Facebook page. But man, they know what they're doing and they do it well, and people know that here in the region. If you need a new roof, or maybe you need new siding, windows, gutters, they do it all. RomansRoofing.net or 219-838-9111. Halcyon Water Solutions. If you guys have ever tasted water that doesn't taste good, I remember going to a friend's house growing up, and the water was just nasty, and I was so thirsty, and I just didn't want the water there. I don't know what it was, but Halcyon probably would know what it was. They provide the highest quality water treatment, like the highest quality you can possibly get, with exceptional service all across Northwest Indiana. From water softening and filtration, they'll do that. They also do salt delivery, so you don't have to deal with it, and they'll maintain your system for you as well. They have your water needs covered from start to finish. Call 866-97-WATER to schedule your free in-home water analysis today. If something's off with your water, or maybe you just want to check it out because you're a scientist like me and you want to know what's in it, because you're drinking a lot of that, right? Call Halcyon today. Minogue.life. Michael Minogue's been serving Northwest Indiana in the world of Medicare, Medicaid, and life insurance for decades. He knows his stuff as well. He's an expert in that field. There are new laws coming out next year that he's been studying left and right, and they apply and they may affect your benefits. Something you need to know about: if you signed up for your benefit programs online or on phone, you may not know what all those benefits are. You may have a lot more things you can get out of that, or maybe you're paying too much for one of these plans. He'll help you figure it out. No two plans are alike. Everyone deserves a different plan. You can do that. You can cater that. He'd be happy to help you do it. Minogue.life is the website to go to there. Kate Cusack, our favorite home loan girl here in Northwest Indiana. If you're looking to buy a new home, maybe be a starter home or a dream home, she can help you get in both of those. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. She's amazing. She's going to be doing more winter weather reports, she tells me, coming up this winter from her back deck. So stay tuned for that. She does a lot better reporting than I do. Kate Cusack, Home Loan Girl, is the website to go to, or that's on Facebook, or 219-775-6645. You could shoot her a call or a text. TigerPlumbing.net. TigerPlumbing.net is the place to go for all your plumbing needs. They're our local plumber to the region. They're amazing. I promise they're amazing. Like, all these companies are great. Like, we've had some companies before, like, have 3 or 2-star reviews that have asked to work with us, and I said no before. I said, we're full. We're not full. But anyway, TigerPlumbing.net, place to go. They're amazing. They come out for free, which who does that nowadays? If you have a leaky spigot or maybe something's dripping in the house where it shouldn't be, probably should take care of that. TigerPlumbing.net. FBIBuildings.com, the place to go if you need a new pole barn, either built or renovated. They'll renovate old ones as well, but they do commercial and residential, and they do amazing work. Their Facebook page is one to check out as well. They've done over, I believe, 22,000 pole barn structures in the Midwest. FBIBuildings.com. For that. TNT Tree Service, they are the experts at taking down tough situation trees from storm damage, all that good stuff. If you have a tree that's looking a little weird on your property, or maybe it's hanging on the wires, you're not sure it's going to make it through the winter, just get it taken care of. They do it quick, efficiently, and professionally. They're amazing. It's TTTreeservice.com, 3 T's, TTTreeservice.com, or you can call them at 219-300-6256. Great Lakes Lighting, be the envy of your neighborhood with expertly placed outdoor lighting, and enhances the security on your property. If you have good lighting, it also enhances the flowers, which are in full bloom right now. Either one of those things are great options for expertly placed lighting, and they'll do it. They'll get it all hooked up to you. Get even on a timer, so you don't even have to worry about it. They do great work. You should check out their Facebook page. It's Great Lakes Lighting on Facebook, or the website to go to is lightupnwi.com. lightupmwi.com. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've got brand new Jeeps ready to go. The Wagoneer's looking good this year. Fits my family. Although, well, we've got another one in the oven, so we'll see. But anyway, they do great work over at Grieger's as well, especially in the community. They do a lot of community work. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso, right there on US 30. All right, in terms of our forecast here, well, let me tell you a quick story. So I was out today gardening, all right, which I do almost every day. I'm addicted. But anyway, the tomato plants now, how many people are picking tomatoes from their plants, right? It's time to harvest. We're getting into harvest season. Anyway, you're supposed to cut the suckers off. I don't know. Most of you probably know that. And if you don't, the suckers are basically they're branches that come off your tomato plants that you'll see a little spike kind of coming out diagonally from the branch. Those plants or those branches are a waste of your time and a waste of the tomato plant's energy. So you want to cut those off. They're usually the lower branches, and usually I think every third is one that flowers, and the rest are just sucker branches. Anyway, I was trimming those off today and came across a giant caterpillar on one of them that was camouflage, and I'd never seen it before. And I was like, oh my goodness, kids, come over. It's a caterpillar. Like, it's great. And then, so I'm taking pictures of it and I'm looking it up, and it's, oh gosh, I totally forget the name now. I think I still have it on my phone. And again, I am not an extremely experienced gardener. I don't have it in here anymore. It's a something worm. Anyway, it's basically the sphinx moth, which is a gorgeous moth. It's the larvae of a sphinx moth. And this thing will devour an entire tomato plant in a night. And so I'm like, cute caterpillar, get that thing off the tomatoes. And so I took some pictures of it, and the kids participate. So they recommend to squash it. I'm not going to do that just because the sphinx moth is kind of cool. I understand it harms stuff, but it's beautiful. So we took it over with some tomato clippings that I had, and we put it out in the woods so it can be happy for a little bit. But anyway, I don't know if any of you have done with this thing. A hornworm, that's it. Kim, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I knew someone would come through. Colleen, thank you as well. Quick trigger on that. Yeah, we had I've never seen a hornworm before, but those things are massive. That is the biggest caterpillar I've ever seen. It was amazing. So anyway, we had one of those on the tomato plants. That was all the excitement in our house this weekend. But hopefully your gardens are doing well, and you're going to have to keep up with the watering because we've got a dry schedule from here. All right, let's talk about the rain. I've wasted your time long enough giving stories. Rhonda, hello. Thanks for being on so early. Jan, I appreciate you joining us on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Wendy, hello to you. Lynn is with us saying happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. Hi there, Mark. Mark's with us. Darlene. Deb, thanks for joining us. Lisa Smith, thank you so much for coming along here tonight. Angel's with us. Rich is talking about the hot day. Yeah, it's getting a little old, right, Rich? Sherry's with us. Rhonda doesn't like the humidity. George says, do I see storms firing west heading our way? Yeah, we'll talk about that, George. Let's see. Sir Waz is here. What's up? Hopefully no severe weather coming. Yeah, it doesn't look like a whole lot of severe chances from here. We'll keep an eye on it here. Kelly's with us. Ruth not liking the corn sweat. There's that. Oh, Tom, my goodness. Working at the steel mill, and you talk about hot with the weather and 1,800 degree plates of steel, I can imagine it's sweltering in there. Oh man, Tom, your work, I'm telling you, you're probably one of the hardest working crews there this time of year and all that. Susan's with us. Joyce wants a good storm, and Vicky's with us as well. Derek talking about August being below in rain. Okay, absolutely. Kirsty, I appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words. All right, and thank you for all of the kind words around the hornworm. All right, let's dive in. So this map that I'm showing you, the radar that I've been kind of showing on loop here, this has been going over the last, this is about 2.5 days worth, okay? What I want you to notice is all the rain up in areas of Wisconsin and just to our west. Here's where we are, right? The rain all weekend held just west of us, and I mean just west of us. We had a pop-up downpour in LaPorte County earlier this afternoon. But look at that wall. It's almost like a wall is just up right here, right? With all that rain repeatedly going over the same areas. And it has been feast or famine. So here's a rainfall map. We're completely dry here, right? We had a completely dry weekend. Thank goodness it was dry this weekend. I get it. But look off towards the north and the west. Widespread 3 to 6 inches of rain. And then you get into Milwaukee. Holy moly. Some of these totals coming in from Milwaukee and areas of eastern Wisconsin are coming in at the 10 to 15 inch mark. They had incredible rains and flooding from these repeated storms. And so you notice the pattern's been kind of the same where the southeast, I'm going to zoom way out, southeastern United States, they've had a lot of tropical moisture. I had someone at church today who just got back from North Carolina and said, you'd expect to go to North Carolina this time of year and you'd expect it to be nice. Humid and hot, right, but not bad. And she said it was a washout all weekend. She said her beach trip was just awful. It rained all weekend. And so they've had it down there for a while. And then we've got this little sliver up here that has just had persistent storms the last few days. So what's going on? Why is this pattern not moving? Well, there's a big high pressure in play right now. And that high is the same one that's pumping in the warm air. And it's the same high pressure that's keeping us dry. All right. It has literally put up a wall. And you talk about wall. I thought this was so cool. I wanted to share this with you. This is the satellite picture right now. Look at this line of clouds just west of the city of Chicago, just holding there. I've never seen something like this before, where we have, notice the clouds out towards the east are going from east to west. Kind of weird, right? That's that high pressure pushing up against the air that's trying to get in here with these showers and storms. And all of it just kind of butting up in one spot. And that spot has been where the showers and storms have been. But nowhere is it more evident than this line of clouds right here. Just incredible. So what's going to happen? When does this thing finally break down? Well, it is going to start to break down. And we're going to have a storm risk the next couple of days. It's not off the charts. And I'll tell you, it's going to be very scattered. There's going to be a couple waves that pop. They may not pop on us. They may pop around us. So we don't have a real slam dunk chance of rain with this, but I'll show you kind of what the models are doing with it. And at least that boundary, as it starts to kind of wash out, at least it moves over us. And get used to this pattern, because I kind of see this pattern setting up again next week, where we're waiting on a slow moving front to slowly work its way into the region. All that to say, we're going to have plenty of dry days between these fronts. And I don't really like this pattern, because this is the pattern that's led to a drought the last couple seasons. We tend to get it in the middle of summer or late summer. And we're kind of falling into it again, where there's not a lot of movement to the atmosphere and that rain's just not on us. So here's, in terms of our forecast here today, the one thing I wanted to show you was the storms that we were talking about out towards the west. So there are storms firing near Chicago. I forgot who asked me that earlier. Was it you? No, it wasn't Derek. Who was it? I'm looking for it. Here it is. George. George asked about the storms firing off towards the west. These storms, unfortunately, George, are heading north and east. So they've got more northerly movement to it than easterly movement. And we could see it there in that satellite, how that line is holding. All right. These down here in southern and central Illinois, they may have a chance at breaking through this boundary. But there's a pretty decent flow coming out of the east, which is keeping this boundary at bay. It's really fascinating. So our rain chances aren't as high as you might think when you look at the radar. But some of them may get in here. And here's what we've got going on in terms of the modeling. So it doesn't really develop the storms where they're developing. It's a little further west, so I already kind of discount it. But you notice the trend here, where some of these little bubblies may get in here as we go throughout the day tomorrow, as that boundary is kind of focused here. There's also going to be a low pressure system that develops along that boundary that might help lift the air a little bit more to create some of those showers and thunderstorms along this. But this is tomorrow, just kind of hit or miss showers and thunderstorms, says the HRRR. And then this boundary comes in with that low on Tuesday. This is Monday night into Tuesday. And that, depending on where it develops these storms, may roll through. Right now, the HRRR has it further north, but I would discount that. And the reason why is because the models aren't real good at initiating these storms and telling us where they're going to go. So as a result, what I say as a meteorologist is there's going to be a low pressure down here. We know that, okay? A low is going to develop, and that low is going to come our way tomorrow night into Tuesday. And so the radar may not look like this, but there will likely around that low be showers and thunderstorms, and that would bring us probably our best chance of rain here would be tomorrow, late in the evening into Tuesday, all right? And that, again, is with that low as it rotates through. And then once that goes through, this front is pretty much out of here. I'll show you here on the longer range modeling here. There's our decent chance tomorrow afternoon of just some pop-ups around. And then Tuesday, there's your better chance of rain as that low kind of circulates through. Remember, low pressures are just that. It's an area where there's not as much pressure in the atmosphere, so it's a lighter pressure, right? Lower pressure. And so the air has to fill that void, and so it often rises. And so when we get low pressures, we tend to get more rising motion in the atmosphere, which produces those showers and storms. That's why lows are synonymous with rain and snow and storms and stuff like that, because you have a lot of lift in the atmosphere. So as that low rotates through, there you go. The better chance of rain is going to be on Monday night into Tuesday. And then that front is pretty much out of here. Perhaps a lingering shower here on Wednesday, but the bulk of it's down to the south and kind of washing out into more of a summertime pattern. And then look, we go dry again. This is great for weekend plans. There's Thursday, there's Friday, there's Saturday. All the action is back off towards the north. It's a very similar pattern where we have a front that went through, washes out down towards Tennessee, and then we have to wait for the next front to come in here as we go in really the latter half of the weekend and next week. And you can see this is Sunday into Monday next week. That's when the rain chances kind of sink in. So this is a very similar pattern to what we're dealing with right now, and it almost lines up day to day, the same as it did this last week. And so we're going to go dry. So we need the rain the next couple of days. It does look like that system might hang around a little bit longer as we go into the first week of August. And then you can see another front perhaps coming in around the 25th. We'll see. What's that do for temperatures? Well, we do have some cooler air coming our way later this week. We highlighted this about a week ago in one of our posts talking about that brief little cool spell in here where we get highs right around 80, but more importantly, those lows dip back down into the low 60s, and that's because we've got drier air. That humidity is going to dip for a couple days, and that arrives Wednesday night into Thursday. Remember, that front settles south, so Wednesday night, Thursday is when that cooler, drier air gets here, and then it really doesn't hang around long because by Saturday and Sunday, we're back to some warmth again, upper 80s to near 90 with lows in the 70s, all right? And then the other thing we're watching, and we also talked about this a couple weeks, or about a week ago, the possibility of a brief warm-up behind this little cool spell this week, but then a little bit more fall-like pattern. I don't really want to say fall-like. It's still warm outside. But we'll have a nice pattern that sets up, perhaps the model guidance is saying the 21st through the 25th, somewhere in there, we could get a multiple day stretch of some cooler air. And that would come with drier air, which means our dew points go down. It gets more comfortable outside. We'd have low 60s for lows, maybe upper 50s in spots. And so not any real crazy heat coming our way that's going to stick around. This has been a little bit of a long stretch here recently, but we should get some nice changes to that atmosphere every 4 or 5 days as those fronts continue to make their way in from Canada. And it's just a matter of time before we start getting some stronger fronts in here. It will happen, but usually August is pretty stagnant. We can get a couple days worth of big storms around here. I mean, we can still get severe weather in August, but really, next month is when we start to deal with more atmospheric dynamics. Final thing I want to talk about is the drought. This is the latest drought monitor, and again, it hasn't helped itself, right? It hasn't rained since this drought monitor came out. This is information dating to back last Tuesday. They released it on Thursdays. But you can see we've had a lot of improvement across Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. For us here specifically, we're still technically in a drought in Lake County, whereas the rest of us are not in a drought. We do have some areas of abnormally dry, which is not a drought. That's a 0 out of 4 on the drought monitor. But either way, we know it's been dry. How about numbers? Well, we're running anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches down on the year. Summer's doing okay because we had so much rain. And by summer, I mean after June 1st, meteorologically, we're okay in terms of that. But overall on the year, and if you go a little beyond that, or if you go back to the spring, I should say, that's when we really started that deficit. And we're not doing great. We really aren't. We're down several inches of rainfall. We can make up for that with a front or two that kind of sticks around and brings storms for multiple days. But I don't see that in the forecast. We need some good downpours next couple of days to kind of even things out from the last week, week and a half of dry weather. Okay. All right. Throw your questions in the chat. Again, hopefully this has been helpful in terms of what your week's going to look like. Just kind of in summary for you, we've got some scattered storms that'll be popping as this boundary finally moves in tonight and tomorrow. And then Tuesday looks to be your best chance of rain as a low pressure down towards Missouri creates more development of showers and storms. We need some downpours with that because once that's out of here, we should start to dry out Wednesday. We look dry afternoon Wednesday. Thursday looks dry. Friday looks dry. Saturday looks dry. Sunday looks dry. And then we'll deal with another front perhaps Sunday and a Monday of next week. We'll see what the timing does on that. So we could use the rain. And then no major heat coming our way. We do have a little cool down coming our way Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be right near 80 degrees. And then we'll build back to the upper 80s to near 90. But no like mid 90s, upper 90s, stuff like that. So that's some good news for you, okay? All right, so let's see. Angie says we have such long winters. Angie, I was just thinking about that earlier today, because I do enjoy fall personally, and I know a lot of us enjoy fall because it's a break from the humidity, right? But we all know what's coming after fall. But man, today I was outside, obviously working, and it was hot, right? It's hot and sweaty, and you just sweat everywhere you go because it's summertime. But I kind of liked it because I was thinking like the winters are long, to your point, and I was just thinking about how these are the days that we miss and we wish for in the middle of February and March where winter just hangs on. And it's just such a wonderful thing, and I've said it before, to live in Northwest Indiana where we have seasons, and each season you can't really remember what the season was like before that because it was 6 months ago. And so I can't imagine it being snowy and cold right now. But in the wintertime, I can't imagine it being hot and humid. So it's nice to have those seasons. I've lived elsewhere. When we were down in southern Georgia, it was just hot all the time. And you're sitting there, it's Thanksgiving, and it felt like it is outside right now. And, we're watching football on TV, and it's in the 90s and humid, and it doesn't feel like fall football weather. And so it really is a blessing to live where we are. And meteorologically it is too, because it's very challenging here versus a lot. I don't know what people do in San Diego. All right. I'd be bored to death. And we've had kind of San Diegan weather here recently. And I don't want to say I'm bored. It's just like when we start posting sunset times on our Facebook page, it's because there's not a lot of active weather right now, but we're getting back into it, which is good. And I do enjoy the updates for sure. Waz, absolutely. You're welcome. Shelly, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Debbie's asking about the Perseid meteor shower, which is coming up this week. Yeah, Deborah, it looks good. Yeah, we should have Tuesday's going to be kind of in question because that front will be moving through. We'll probably have leftover cloudiness, but Wednesday looks a lot better as the clouds should be vacating the area. So there's that. Yeah, Dale talking about the derecho. I saw the write-up from the Weather Service on that. Yeah, 5 years ago was the derecho. That's the strongest one that I can remember. And I remember that day, Dale, I remember forecasting that day where we got the morning round, and I remember doing Facebook Live or whatever it was from that morning. And the big question was, do we destabilize and can we be unstable enough, quick enough to get an afternoon round? And the models were picking up on round 1 here and round 2 here. And boy, we got nailed by both. And I just remember that second round was just such a beast. And yeah, so it's happened before. The back-to-back thing has happened before, but very rarely. I can remember another instance from when I first started in meteorology. I don't want to date myself. This is probably like 15 to 17 years ago, somewhere around there, where we had derechos, where we had a morning round that came through, damaging winds, and then it was cloudy for a while. Then it dried up, and we got an evening round. And I remember going to the station. I think I was at Lakeshore Public Television in Maryville at the time. But yeah, just crazy. I can't. I don't know if it was the strongest one, Dale. It was the strongest one that I can remember from my career. I mean, we had 90 to 100 mile per hour winds. I mean, that's nuts. So there's that. Wendy asked a good question. My daughter flying on Sunday through Atlanta to Tyler, Texas. Do you see any storms? Yes, Wendy, I do. They're going to have just your daily pop-ups. Nothing too crazy down there. And I'm going to guess you're talking about next Sunday, right? Because today's today. So here's Sunday. Yeah. So that front that goes by us, Monday, Tuesday, the next couple of days, what they do is those fronts stall down south, and you just get these pop-up storms, kind of like in Florida all year. That's what they'll be dealing with here. So here's Sunday, so flying, I think you said Atlanta to Tyler, Texas. So here's Atlanta, here's Texas. They're going to be going through pop-up storms. And so that's nothing that will slow down the planes. They'll just go around them. That's typically what they do because it's not going to be a huge complex or line of storms. It'll be pop-ups where they can fly in between the cumulonimbus clouds. It's pretty cool how they do that, but that's kind of what we're dealing with. Maxwell, it has been a hot summer, and that's a really good point, saying, a good water spout season over the lake. Yeah, I think it's going to last for a while, too. Normally, we're talking about water spouts in August when you can get some cool air masses, but more so September. Typically don't get a lot of water spouts in October from my memory, but we may this year, again, with that warmer water temperature. And who knows, Maxwell, this may lead to, a heavier lake effect snow season around here. We tend to say that whenever we have warmer winters, and then the setup doesn't get here till like February once the waters have cooled. But man, in November and December, if we keep these lake waters running warm and we get a shot of cold air or two with the right wind, we could get buried with some really intense lake effect bands, and that has to do with the warmer water. So we'll see what happens. Jennifer, I thought you were getting married. My niece is getting married on Saturday in Chicago. Will it be comfortable or hot and humid? So Jennifer, it's not going to be bad. The humidity is going to start building back, and so it's going to be less humid than today, but it's going to be more humid than what we're dealing with Wednesday, Thursday. Let me see if I can show you here. Let's look up. It's under moisture. Let me see. So let's look up the dew points next Saturday. So just for example here, and why don't I zoom in a little bit better so you can see it? All right. So here are dew points. This tells you how comfortable it feels, right? Our dew points are in the 60s and 70s now, so uncomfortable stuff. Not the worst it's been all summer, right? We went upper 70s for a while, but still it's humid outside. Tomorrow, humid. Tuesday, humid, right? The front's trying to get through. And then dry air lags behind front. So the front's going to go through Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, but the dry air doesn't get here until Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So Tuesday, humid. This is Wednesday. And then you can see Wednesday night, we get some relief in here. So better numbers, still humid, but not bad. But then you can see Thursday and the Friday, that humidity's starting to build back in. So let me go to the right model run here. So here's Saturday. And Saturday, we'll have dew points that are right around where we are right now, if not actually a tick or two above. So, yeah, I digress. I think I said earlier it'd be a little bit better than now. It'll be about the same as it is right now in terms of humidity, but should stay dry. And then it looks like we get some corn sweat air in here like Sunday, Monday, and early next week before we get a shot of drier air, okay? We don't have the corn sweat air right now, all right? That stuff's all heading up towards Minnesota. With the flow, but it does look like we get it next week. That's the real thick humidity. It's just gross. So there's that. Yeah, Maxwell, I hope so. Man, I love that MCS pattern. It doesn't last long enough. That's the problem. I wish it lasted for weeks. I really do. The pattern always breaks down. Mark, thank you very much. You're welcome. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. All right, guys, I think that's it. We'll let you go. Don't forget, we're back on the radio side of things. X-Rock 103.9, Indiana 105.5, and Z107.1 starting tomorrow morning. We do talkbacks in terms of radio coverage, in terms of your weather. We've got the beach report on there for you as well. And if you're just listening to any of those radio stations at work, you'll hear good old Matt talking about the weather every now and then on there. So we do great work with them. They do great work with us as well. And as always, regionweather.com, place to go. You can sign up for daily emails, something I craft up in the morning and send out to you specifically. It's not from a bot. It's not AI. It's not your phone app. It's actual human being interacting with you with a weather forecast for local to Northwest Indiana. So there's that. You can sign up for that on regionweather.com. On the right-hand side of the screen, you see sign up for an email. You type it in. I won't spam you. It's probably one a day. Sometimes we don't even send it. So there's that. But most days we do. All right. You guys have a wonderful week. We'll get you through it. We'll talk again face-to-face on Wednesday. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.